Hey everybody, good morning or good afternoon. Welcome back. We are continuing on with the Course in Miracles workbook lessons. Today we are on lesson 70. My salvation comes from me. Okay, here we go. My salvation comes from me. All temptation is nothing more than some form of the basic temptation not to believe the idea for today. Salvation seems to come from anywhere except from you. So too does the source of guilt. You see neither guilt nor salvation as in your own mind and nowhere else. When you realize that all guilt is solely an invention of your mind, you also realize that guilt and salvation must be in the same place. In understanding this, you are saved. The seeming cost of accepting today's idea is this. It means that nothing outside yourself can save you. Nothing outside yourself can give you peace. But it also means that nothing outside yourself can hurt you or disturb your peace or upset you in any way. Today's idea places you in charge of the universe, where you belong because of what you are. This is not a role that can be partially accepted, and you must surely begin to see that accepting it is salvation. I'm taking it in. It may not, however, be clear to you why the recognition that guilt is in your own mind entails the realization that salvation is there as well. God would not have put the remedy for the sickness where it cannot help. That is the way your mind has worked, but hardly His. He wants you to be healed, so He has kept the source of healing where the need for healing lies. You have tried to do just the opposite, making every attempt, however distorted and fantastic it might be, to separate healing from the sickness for which it was intended, and thus keep the sickness. Your purpose was to ensure that healing did not occur. God's purpose was to ensure that it did. Today we practice realizing that God's will and ours are really the same in this. God wants us to be healed. And we do not really want to be sick because it makes us unhappy. Therefore, in accepting the idea for today, we are really in agreement with God. He does not want us to be sick. Neither do we. He wants us to be healed. So do we. We are ready for 2 longer practice periods today, each of which should last some 10 to 15 minutes. We will, however, still let you decide when to undertake them. We will follow this practice for a number of lessons, and it would again be well to decide in advance when would be a good time to lay aside for each of them, and then adhering to your own decisions as closely as possible. Begin these practice periods by repeating the idea for today, adding a statement signifying your recognition that salvation comes from nothing outside of you. You might put it this way: my salvation comes from me. It cannot come from anywhere else. Then devote a few minutes with your eyes closed to reviewing some of the external places where you have looked for salvation in the past, in other people, in possessions, in various situations and events, and in self-concepts that you sought to make real. Recognize that it is not there and tell yourself, my salvation cannot come from any of these things. My salvation comes from me and only from me. Now we will try again to reach the light in you, which is where your salvation is. You cannot find it in the clouds that surround the light, and it is in them you have been looking for it. It is not there. It is past the clouds and in the light beyond. Remember that you'll have to go through the clouds before you can reach the light. But remember also that you have never found anything in the cloud patterns you imagined that endured or that you wanted. Since all illusions of salvation have failed you, surely you do not want to remain in the clouds, looking vainly for idols there, when you could so easily walk on into the light of real salvation. Try to pass the clouds by whatever means appeals to you. If it helps you, think of me holding your hand and leading you. And I assure you this will be no idle fantasy. For the short and frequent practice periods today, remind yourself that your salvation comes from you, and nothing but your own thoughts can hamper your progress. You are free from all external interference. You are in charge of your salvation. You are in charge of the salvation of the world. Say then, my salvation comes from me. Nothing outside of me can hold me back. Within me is the world's salvation and my own. Another beautiful mantra to kind of post-it note on your forehead as you go about your day today. My salvation comes from me. But it's not me, my little me. It's my big me, my God self me, the energy that's streaming in from the divine. That me, that whole me, the light being, the light beam, that is me. My salvation comes from me. Nothing outside of me can hold me back. Within me is the world's salvation and my own. I hope this ties in what I'm about to say. I have some teenagers, I have twins, and one of them gets a little triggered and activated when she feels she's being disrespected. Now, of course, I do what I can to try and impart the things that I've learned, but it's pretty difficult to, explain what I feel, what I know, what I feel in my body. That is the light, the truth. You can't. It's very difficult to explain to a teenager. But just to take as an example, she says, I was at school today, and I heard somebody say something to somebody else, and so I went up to the person that was disrespecting my friend, and I told that person, you can't disrespect her that way. You can't disrespect me that way. And I assure you that you'll never, don't ever speak to me that way. You will, because you are disrespecting me. And I'm thinking to myself, and I've told this to other adults close to me, some close friends who've said the same thing. They're not teenagers, but I was disrespected. Now, sure, I understand that somebody probably spoke to you in a way that was anything other than kind or compassionate. But keep in mind, yes, that happened, and we can all agree the way that person spoke to us, to you, to them, is definitely not somebody that is channeling the light of the divine, okay? We're going to just get to the bare bones here. But if you understand truly and breathe in, drink in lesson 70, nobody can ever disrespect you, because nothing is technically happening to you. Everything that is happening for you, to you, is happening within you, not outside of you. Not outside of you. Especially, and I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole of physical assault and abuse, because we're not ready to tap into that, but that will also get acknowledged and covered in terms of what is actually happening in those moments. And it's crushing to have to experience that, but we're not going to go there. We're going to just talk about at a simple level of disrespect. Somebody disrespecting you. You need to earn my respect. Actually, to be quite honest, nobody's earning anything. Your respect is the respect that is within yourself from yourself to yourself, all connected to God and the God self within you. It's just like that beam of light. Beams of light are not arguing with other beams of light, saying, you're taking more light than me. When you're, again, we can go even more bare bones. That's what's happening. A beam of light isn't saying I'm being disrespected by that beam of light. We are kind of responsible for the way we see ourselves. If somebody on the street came up to me, whether I knew them or not, and said something, I hate redheads, or you think you're something, but you're nothing. Even somebody that I cared about. Years ago, maybe even as early as a year ago, I would have been like, okay, that hurt. That hurt. Especially if it's somebody that I care about. You're nothing, you're worthless. I'd be like, that was not respectful. This person disrespected me. Not really. They were just words. But the now person that I am has strengthened this beam of light to the point where they didn't disrespect me. They're just spewing off their vitriol of discontent and hatred. They might use me as the subject matter for their vitriol, but when you solidify how you see yourself, how you feel for yourself, and the easiest way to solidify that is to strengthen your connection with divinity, with God, with source, with light. I'm sorry I use the G word all the time because I know it can be very triggering. But, so I'll use other words: universe, source, light, spirit. When you really strengthen that connection, no word or action or behavior that is perceived by the human eye, by the naked eye, as being disrespectful or disrespected, it's not that anymore. It's just an entity exemplifying their absolute discontent with the world that's going on within them. You will never, ever be disrespected again or feel disrespected by anybody, even the most gnarly of peoples out there. Never will you ever feel disrespected again if you can truly feel what this lesson is talking about. I mean, really, all the lessons will get you to that place of the only respect that I need to be concerned about is the respect from God. And that's easy peasy. That's like, duh. Oh, we're going to create you. Respect. Just like that. I mean, your light is connected to Spirit's light. So it's like one and the same. That's like your arm being connected to your body and then not, respecting your arm. I mean, this is God is kind of that's the connection with Spirit, with the universe, like an extension of yourself, like your arm attached to the body. So you don't have to worry about the respect from up above, from the heavens, from the light. That's a no-brainer. I'm like losing the phrasing, but yeah, that's a done deal. From the moment you were created. You're just an extension. So you're connected all the time. I'm trying to give you like practical visualizations of what's really happening when you are really, really making the effort and then getting there to finding that, like, that strength, that core that just like is a wire that's just constantly attached to the power, the infinite power and intelligence and love that is around you, is you. So getting back to lesson 70, I mean, your salvation is within, because that is where the light is. That is where the universe is. The spirit is. It is you. You are they. My salvation comes from me. Lesson 70. Have a blessed day.